Shalom, this is Amonute, Tayac of Piscataway, your friendly neighborhood Shuman, Sophia Spiritualite, the AmaruKhan Miriyam, and we are here with our Capricorn New Moon presentation. I'm hoping to go back to live presentations, private presentations in the month of February when things will start to get really real in these streets. But for the time being, this is a public share, so everyone will get to see this. It is not private as in you have to pay. It's private as in I'm not putting all of my business out on the internet because I see how people are taking the information, and I do not want to be responsible for anyone misusing my information. So this is why we do private meetings. And if you're interested in that, at the end of this presentation is my email address. Send me an email. You'll get I'll put you on my list to receive the PDF of this presentation. And when I do the presentations, you'll get the invites as well. I also have a link for my Discord server in the description, which is also free. You can join the Discord server, and when I do the meetings, I'll post the links there too. And I'm going to try to be a little bit more active on Discord, y'all. Just bear with me while I try to get my bearings in this energy, which is not necessarily the easiest for someone like me, who has Pluto first placement, my first house, and Pluto's very active right now, and it's a little bit difficult. So let's move on. So here we have, I have the 2023, 2024, and 2025 new moon and full moon schedule. And the reason we still have 2023 is because we're still finishing out some things from 2023. Throughout the year, we'll be able to see the whole cycle. So we do want to be able to refer back to the dates. Of course, here's 2024. So I just want to point out that we have two Capricorn new moons in 2024. One on the 11th of January, and the next one on the 30th of December. There will be no Capricorn new moon in 2025. As you can see here, we have two Virgo new moons in 2025, which is why we won't have a Capricorn new moon. So that's definitely something to keep in mind. Just like in 2024, we won't have in 2024, we also have two Capricorn full moons. So this is really interesting. I'm not really sure how this works when you have two, and then in 2024, the Capricorn full moons are back to back. It's a Capricorn full moon in June, then it's a Capricorn full moon in July. And I'm not really sure how that works because I'm not sure how that works. I just don't even know what to say. Because the way the full moons are, we shouldn't have two full moons of the same in a year. It's just unusual. So this is just a lot of Capricorn energy in 2024. But in 2025, we have extra Virgo energy because we have two Virgo. Is that two? No. We don't have two Virgo full moons. No, it doesn't happen that way. Even though in 2025 we have two Virgo new moons, it's not like we have two Virgo full moons in 2025. So this right here that's going on this year is very unusual. It's really hammering on these 1 degree and 29 degrees of Capricorn. Really hammering on it pretty hard. So I just wanted to point that out to y'all. So this Capricorn new moon is going to reach its we'll reach the point. Well, remember, new moons are where you ask for the energy to come in, and full moons is where you remove blockages. So we have 2 points to remove the blockages in August. No. in June and July, with the one in the 29 of Capricorn. And then we should see this energy that we deal with manifest completely by the end of this year, which I do believe is unusual to say the least, because we have another Capricorn New Moon at the end of this year. So this energy should manifest by the end of this year. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. We'll also be keeping our eye on the Virgo New Moon in September, since we have two Virgo full moons that come before we get to the next Virgo New Moon, which is doubled as well. So we'll be keeping our eye on Virgo for 2025 for sure. But this year is all about Capricorn, another earth sign. So here's again 2025, and you see we have the first Virgo moon. A full moon is a total lunar eclipse, so we'll definitely be keeping and then you have a partial solar eclipse for the September Virgo New Moon. So we definitely going to be keeping our eye on this, because it's a lot of Virgo energy that's coming through next year, after we deal with this Capricorn energy for this year. So it's very, very unusual and very, very interesting. So as a reminder, the new moon's about receiving, so you want to use your I am statement as I am receives the whole house theme, and the full moon are for releasing any blockages to that whole house theme. Excuse me. I'm not even sick, it's just got a lot of incense right now. All right, so this is a reminder of what the theme for each house is, which cards it associates with. Now, remember, my interpretation of the tarot cards is not the same as everyone else's, and so you have to keep that in mind when you're looking at other people's interpretations of the cards. Nobody uses the cards in the way that I do. No one. So you just have to keep that in mind when looking at tarot readers and other people. They're not going to interpret the energy the same way that I do. So here is all of the angels of Jupiter. Of course, this is what is controlling us right now. I'm just going to read the one for Capricorn. Very, very short, which is Hanael. Of course, we're familiar with Hanael as the ruler over Venus as well. So another one of, I'm sort of looking at it like sisters, another one of the sister angels in this energy. And also you have Hanael that rules an hour. So you have Hanael over Jupiter, Hanael over Venus, and then Hanael over one of the specific hours. So if I was looking for three sisters, I would probably take the three that have the same name, coming in this very, very similar energy. Now, why that is, I don't know, but I'm sure we'll get more information sooner than later. So, the karmic original principle of the whole cosmic hierarchy has been controlled from the beginnings of time by the 10th original genius of the Jupiter sphere on all planets and in all spheres. The spiritualite taking interest in this particular matter can be informed of the effects of the karmic laws in all the spheres and planes, and he will learn how, from the magical Kabbalistic point of view, the original karmic principles and their laws can be made of use in various spheres. So this is the reason why we have so much Capricorn energy this year, because it's a lot of karmic energy. They have been manipulating the karmic energy to get all away from, serving their karma, and now it has to be served, and it's going to be served with a double portion and not the way that they were expecting. But also for the people who have done the work, who have dealt with their ancestors, their ancestral line, their DNA issues, their shadow and stuff like that, and integrated it in, and not gotten rid of it, but integrated it in. Those people will also be experiencing some things that they've never experienced before as well. And so I highly recommend that you do your work, learn who you are so that you are able to successfully navigate this karmic energy that's coming in the double portion this year, okay? So for the Capricorn New Moon, this stuff basically is the same from new moon to new moon and from full moon to full moon. You want to post and store your statement related to your house, the house your Capricorn falls in, and place the paper on your altar, wherever. And for part 2, you want to write on a black, brown, or white candle. I am going to use white candles because I could not locate a black or brown candle at the dollar store, and I can't go to the other store and get a 7-day candle right now. I need a 3-day candle. So I use white. You could also use yellow. Yellow is the color that's being used in the Orthodox Church right now. So you could also use yellow if you so choose. All right. So ask your angels to assist it with what they specialize in. And of course, I will give you an example using the USA chart. So, I got Sagittarius on here. I'm sorry. It's Capricorn. So what is your Capricorn house in? That's what you want to look at. I'll change this before I send it out. I knew I was going to miss something. So look at what your Capricorn house is in. And that's the I am statement. That's what you're working with this new moon season. And of course the hours so that you can know when to actually deal with your thing. How I've been using this, honestly, is that the time that is related to my house, that's when I light my candle during that particular hour. That's how I've been using this energy. You can always use the energy that's the potent for that day. You know, the 6 a.m. hour, the 1 p.m. hour, the 8 p.m. hour on that day. If this is a little bit too complicated for you, those are the power hours for every single day. But if you can find it in your hour, I try to write my stuff and just do it within that hour. And since it's only twice a month that I have to do it like this, I can make it work. So keep in mind that the full moon is on Thursday. So you can start this as early as Tuesday or as late as Saturday. And you're still within the window, okay? It's like now this energy is almost like 2 days before and 2 days after. So that's why I'm going to be posting this on Sunday. So you have plenty of time to get prepared, ask questions. I know usually I don't get back to the questions on time, but I'm going to attempt to do that this month. That's why I'm posting this a little bit earlier. And we may do our meetings a little bit earlier so I have time to address any questions that come up. That was part of my problem too with my live meetings, is that they were a little bit too late. I really needed to do a week, almost even 2 weeks out. Like it's right after the full moon. It's like we need to be having the meeting for the new moon, like that soon. So if I'm going to do it like that, I have to really get ahead. And so doing these as videos as opposed to doing meetings is giving me a chance to figure out how to get ahead so I can put it in my schedule so that I can get it done, because these do take quite a bit of work and research and thinking and pondering on what, going into the spirit realm and trying to figure out, what is actually going on so that I can, make some sense of it for you all as I present it. So speaking of that, here's the Capricorn New Moon. So it is at 7:09 a.m. the exact time of the new moon. As you can see, this is taking place in both the 12th house and the first house. This is Placidius, of course, not whole house. And so it's because it's taking place in both the 12th and the first houses. This is kind of like the end and the beginning. This signifies a new beginning, and everything is at the front side of the chart. So, and there's a lot of planets in Capricorn, including we have 2 double placements because we have the part of fortune and the ascendant. I think I put descendant on here. Oh, gosh, I'll go back and fix that before I send it. We have the ascendant and the ascendant and the part of fortune both at 15 degrees of Capricorn, and we have the sun and the moon both at 20 degrees of Capricorn. So there's a lot of double energy in here with that as well. Just giving it an extra push. Something I also want to point out is that this is basically at a, is it square, or I believe that this is square to the nodes. So the nodes are also at 20 degrees, but they're at 20 degrees of Libra and Aries, respectively. So this is usually a pretty hard aspect. So even though we have this new moon that's supposed to flow in this, quote unquote good energy, we do have this hard aspect energy with the new moon. And something else I want to point out is we also have Uranus over here at 19 degrees, which is a trine to this energy. So Uranus is like the planet of strange things happening. So you, at the same time you have this hard aspect between the moon and its nodes, you also have this trine aspect with the moon and the sun and Uranus. So it's like, it seems like it's going to be a little bit confusing how the energy actually, it's going to be unusual for sure. And I don't, I recommend you go and watch some actual astrologers to see what the energy is like, so you can kind of know what to look for, because it's going to be one of those things where it's like, oh, this is exactly what I want, but why did it have to happen like this? Like that kind of sort of energy. And it's good to be aware of what that might look like for you. So with that perspective, go and check out your favorite astrologers and see what they have to say about this new moon. Just understanding that, oh, it's going to be good, but it's going to be strange and it's going to be hard. You know what I mean? Like, it's not going to be like, oh, this is easy and it all flows. Yeah, it's all going to flow, but it's not going to flow as easy as you would like. And it's going to be kind of these hard aspects as opposed to being these flowy aspects. So for example, I scheduled to do the pendulum class. I wanted to do a tarot class, and I just got totally denied from those things, even though that's what I was instructed to do. I was invited to do. They're like, no, you can't do that now. It's like, but I thought like y'all wanted me to do this stuff, and then kind of like the last minute it was like, nah, you can't do it right now. Like, you're going to have to just hold. Don't say nothing about it, because I don't know what's going on. Like, I can't explain it to you, but it's just like, I just got denied access to do what I was, kind of told to do in freaking December. And, come January, they like, are you crazy? You can't do any of that stuff. It's like, but like, I just heard I was supposed to do this. So it's like that kind of energy. You also have Venus here, which is kind of in conjunction with this too, because it's at 15 degrees. So there's a lot of energy, I would say, going on that's going to be a little bit unusual, and also a little bit something that people just aren't expecting. That's just the best way that I can describe it. So, all right. So here is the energies that are going to be present. So remember, what you do with this is on your candle, you will look at what these different things do and ask them to help you with these things in your chart specifically. I don't give suggestions for these, but I'll give examples as we go along the way. So Mars is going to be at 5 degrees of Capricorn, which is Johnny. This spirit intelligence is regarded as the mysterious head of the zone girdling Earth. He is the guardian of all those already in the next world, making preparations for their reincarnation. In the invisible world, i.e. the zone girdling the Earth, where the deceased live, he attributes to those beings who are to be reincarnated in our physical world, the place and surroundings suited to their development. He also instructs them how to produce the band of sympathy between themselves and the ripening fruit in their mother's womb. So people who are interested in going into the new world, the new earth, this is about literally that energy coming in. So it's not just talking about babies. It's talking about the new earth that is being formed at this time. This is what this energy is about. And so you can ask for assistance, like and helping to prepare yourself to go into the new earth, helping to do whatever you need to do to prepare your body if you're of childbearing age to birth one of these individuals who needs to come through, that kind of thing. That's the kind of thing that, or just in general to assist with the birth of the ideas, with the things that you want, the things that you need, to strengthen your bloodline for when it brings in these entities. This is a good time to ask for things related to that. Okay. So you have the part of fortune and the ascendant. This one's, I'll fix it in the one that I emailed to people. At 15 degrees of Capricorn, which is Garces, it says the spirit intelligent is capable of teaching the spiritualite the spiritual practice of locating earth rays, especially their spiritual detection by the help of divining rods, pendulums, and other aids without the use of complicated measuring instruments. The spiritualite is given exact information by this intelligence on new and so far unknown methods of detection. So this is why my class had to be postponed, because I need to go in and ask this guy. We need to collectively ask this guy to help us learn how to locate the earth rays. This is what you do with the pendulum. The earth rays within the ground, and also the earth rays within people, because we all have meridians and those lines or whatever. We got to be able to detect things within the rays. So this is why the class had to be postponed, because there's some other information going to come in. Because this is about making it simple, using the pendulums to do things simply without their complicated instruments and stuff like that. So and we're getting a double dose of that, just to so you know how important it is. It's a double dose. Okay. We have Vulcan at 16 degrees of Capricorn, which is Masadu. Now, Vulcan is not a planet I have talked about a lot. I know some about it, but I'm not really capable of going into detail at this time the way that I want to, except to say that when you're looking at your chart, especially if you got a chart from me, or you got a you get one from online or whatever, you just kind of want to work with all the energies that you can see. Although I know I could add more, I think on these charts I use Vulcan, Vesta, Sedna, Eris, Vulcan, Vesta, Sedna, and Eris. I think those are the only 4 other energies I add in. And as we become more familiar with how these ones work, then I'll start looking at the asteroids and all of that. But it's a lot of different celestial bodies, and I don't want to make it too overwhelming, right? We want to keep it as simple as possible. So I just go with Vulcan, Vesta, Eris, and Sedna. Those are the main ones that I add in when I make my charts. Okay, so this spirit intelligence inspires mankind to become economical and teaches man to put aside reserves for hard times and for winter. He endows the spiritualite with the faculty of finding out in advance the times of bad harvests, famines, etc., and offers protection by his subordinates so that the spiritualite will never suffer from any emergency. This is who was working with. This is why the story of Joseph came up in the last 2 weeks, and I wasn't really sure what he had to do with anything, but now you see, this is the guy who helped him interpret that dream for Pharaoh, and then turned around and was able to set everything up so that the country would, it would do well during that time of, everyone else was suffering during that famine. This is the guy who does that. So it's always helpful when you can find the stories in the Bible where these different intelligences show up, because like I said, the Bible is like a bibliography. It's encyclopedia, and so it's good to think of, especially when you're trying to figure out what to ask for. So you can say, just like Joseph, give me the ability to prepare for any famines that are coming. That's how I would, phrase and add a few more things in there. Okay, so the sun and the moon are both at 20 degrees of Capricorn, which is Parachmo. And this spirit intelligence makes man acquainted with all kinds of herbs of our earth and is the special protector of those who gather herbs. The spiritualite is taught by this head how to make out of herbs the alchemical, sporadic manner medicines for various types of diseases, including so-called incurable ones. From Parachmo, the magician learns about alchemical sporadic essences and quintessences, the production of which is only known up to this date to a few initiates. The spiritualite may learn more from Parachmo than he thinks or believes is possible. So this guy is a master herbalist. So this would include, I don't know if I mentioned this, but it came up again in a video that I was watching. So let me just throw this out here now. Our people really need to be growing our own food, but we're not supposed to do it the way that everyone else does. There is a method that you can, I'm going to be very careful how I say this. If you want to have plants that mimic what your body needs, that contain a piece of your DNA, you could, before you plant a seed, infuse that seed with your DNA. One method of doing that, which is what people are suggesting, Marina Jacoby is the one who has talked about this, and you can look, her YouTube channel is The Harmonic Reactor. You can, before you plant a seed, put it in your mouth and let the saliva get into that seed. And so when you plant it, it will produce, fruits or vegetables or whatever herbs that are specific for your body. So I have been given another method of doing this, which I'm not going to probably ever share publicly, but I will figure out how to make this available to certain people who are going to, maybe plant on a large scale. Anyway, but for a small scale, you can put the thing in your mouth and actually give that plant your DNA. And so when that plant grows, it has a little piece of you in there. I also believe this can be done to plants that are already growing. Y'all have to give me some time to test out my theories, because I'm not really a botanist or anything like that. But I do believe that if you have plants that are already growing, or plants that can't be grown from seed, like coconuts can't be really grown from seed. You can grow oranges and stuff like that from seed, but I do believe you can change the DNA of the plant while it's growing if you use a certain method, which I have to let you know once I get some kind of confirmation that that's true after a couple growing seasons. But in the meantime, if you're going to plant stuff now to start to grow, or even if you're going to grow sprouts or microgreens or something in your house, if you're going to go grow mushrooms or whatever the case may be, you can implant your DNA into that by including your saliva as a part of the insemination process. Let's just put it that way. And this guy would help you to learn methods that would be helpful for you, which is what I'm going to ask for some clarification on this other method that I've been given, to see if it is legitimate. All right, let's keep going. Pluto is going to be at 29 degrees of Echorim, and this spirit intelligence has been teaching mankind from its prime origin how to create the most manifold shapes from earth, gypsum, and clay. In accordance with its development, Echorim has inspired mankind to make pots, vessels, statues, and the like from clay. Later, he taught man to make bricks from clay, which up to this day have been an important constituent in architecture. The spiritualite may not only be informed of everything in conjunction with the working up of clay, he may also be told about the healing power of clay in natural medicine, and may learn which other natural means are to be added to the clay in order to bring about certain curative effects. Hitherto unknown curing methods in this line, which will be revealed to man in the future, will be shown to the spiritualite by Echorim. So if you take this in conjunction with the Mars placement, this is literally about forming and about creation, the process of creation. And you can see how the negative infrastructure took these two entities and put them together and created so-called mankind, so-called these other people. This is what they would have done. So we can undo what they've done with these same entities so that we are able to create naturally. Show me how to naturally create, naturally birth, naturally use these herbs. This is all about this. Literally, all of these spirit intelligences, when you put them all together, this is literally about birthing a new earth, but birthing it with our actual intentions of goodness and righteousness as a part of it. So this particular new moon is extremely important for this whole birthing process and making sure that we put ourselves, we as the original beings, put our energy into this birth that is coming. And so not that it will just, be birthed and we get left out of it. No, we're, by engaging in these practices and asking these energies to do different things, we are putting our righteousness into it. And that's why it doesn't take a lot of people to do this kind of stuff for it to be valuable. It just takes people who are righteous to put their energy to it. And if I'm the only righteous person putting my energy to it, that's fine with me too. I'm putting my energy to it because I want the earth that is going to come, the earth that my children have to live in, to be totally sustainable, to be healthy and happy, and to be able to fulfill its potential so that my children, my fruit, the fruit from my womb, can also birth their children and be happy and successful, and we can work in harmony together. So this is all about bringing in the harmony. This is like the other side of balance. This is the harmony of the spheres and letting us co-create with the new earth that is coming. Not that the new earth is going to be dictated by the father and the mother and the brother and the sister, but making us true co-creators with that new earth. And so that's why this is important. This whole process is important because it's always growing. It's like you don't what you don't just do this 1 year and that's it. No, this is a part of your lifestyle. You learn how to do this. This is a part of your ritual that you do. You go through, you have the information on how to do this. You do this every month, twice a month for the rest of your life. You just include it as a part of your practice because it's not hard. It doesn't take long. Once you get familiar with all these different spirit intelligences, which I do have the workbooks on my website, I'm going to revamp them. I'm going to work on that, getting them re-edited and into a different kind of form. But I do have the workbooks for sale on my website if you don't want to go and buy Bardon's book. And of course, as I figure out who the saints are that are affiliated with it, I let you know so that you can open your book and add that in there. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like this is not a process that's going to happen all at once. There's going to be many, many, many editions of this workbook, but I'm always going to tell you, oh, this is what I've added. This is what's going on now. This is what I found. This is who I tied it to, because that's the way the information comes to me. And I'm not going to rush that so that I can put out the book. I'm going to go about this naturally so everyone can have a chance to understand what's going on here. So these are the energies that are present for the Capricorn New Moon. This is, you take these, like I said, write out what you want them to specifically help you with based on what's going on in your life. Make this personal. You don't make this for everybody and whatever. I do it like that because that's my job as the Hierophant. That's what the Most High assigned me to do. But most of y'all don't have Hierophant, quadruple Hierophant energies in your charts. Of course, if you want to know what's in your charts, then you probably need to hit me up so that I can do a reading for you. But most of y'all don't have Hierophant energy in your chart at all. So Hierophant energy is extremely annoying, actually. But anyway, long story short, you could just do this, add this in as a part of your practice, and make the most of this. Now, there is something that I want to do for women who are still menstruating. I haven't figured it out yet, but I'm putting it out there because I believe that we have another cycle that we need to be keeping track of, and I haven't quite figured out how to line it up yet, but that is something that I'm looking at and I'm working on. Okay, so there isn't a specific saint associated with this Capricorn New Moon. What we have going on here is theophany. And so let me read about theophany. This observance commemorates Christ's baptism by John the Forerunner in the River Jordan and the beginning of Christ's earthly ministry. The Feast of Theophany is the culmination of the Christmas season, which starts on December 25th and ends on January 6th. In mystic commemoration of this event, the great blessing of water is performed on this day, and the holy water is blessed. The holy water so blessed is used by the local priests to bless the homes of the faithful. The feast is called Theophany because at the baptism of the Christ, the Holy Trinity appeared clearly to mankind for the first time. The Father's voice is heard from heaven, the Son of God incarnate and standing physically in the Jordan, and the Holy Spirit descends on him in the form of the dove. And the sister is the water. They don't even talk about the water. The Jordan is the sister. So you have all four parts of the Trinity that appear at one time, with the water and the dove being of the same makeup. So it's very mystical what happens, okay? All right, the feast is also sometimes referred to as Epiphany by English-speaking Orthodox Christians, but that name more properly refers to the Western Christian feast falling on the same day and commemorating the visit of the Magi to the child Jesus. The term Epiphany does appear in some service texts for this feast, however. Originally, there was just one Christian feast of the shining forth of God in the world in the human form of Jesus of Nazareth. It included the celebration of Christ's birth, the adoration of all the wise men, and all the childhood events of Christ, such as his circumcision and presentation to the temple, as well as his baptism by John in the Jordan. There seems to be little doubt that this feast, like Pascha and Pentecost, was understood as the fulfillment of a previous Jewish festival, in this case, the Feast of Lights. The Armenian Apostolic Church still keeps January 6th as a feast of both Christ's nativity and baptism. I would like to point out, if people are looking for an Orthodox church to visit, and there's a lot of information out there. Now, I go to a OCA church, which is the Orthodox Church in America, but I'm going to recommend that people look into the Eastern Orthodox Church because I do have an Eastern Orthodox church here where I am, and I am going to visit it because I want to see if it's like a difference in service. Now, the Eastern Orthodox Church is like the Ethiopian. Most of the time, their services are going to be in a different language. which is why, most Americans would say, oh, just go to an OCA church. However, the difference between the Eastern Orthodox and the American Orthodox, or which is kind of like an offshoot of the Greek Orthodox, is that the Armenian and the Eastern Orthodox believe, or the Oriental, it's called the Oriental Orthodox. The Oriental Eastern Orthodox believe that Christ had two natures, one human and one divine. And the American Orthodox believe that Christ had one nature that was both human and divine. I myself, having done a lot of this spiritual work, believe that it's probably Christ had two natures, one human and one divine, not one nature that was both human and divine. And that's not, it doesn't seem like a big thing, but when you're thinking, for me, this is like, a theology break. For me, if you are a person who is capable of interacting in the spirit realm, like we do you lose your humanity? Do you put your humanity down? Does your human body disappear when you participate in the spirit realm? No, your body stays where it is. And so to think that it's one person that's both human and divine means that when you turn on that divine switch, you turn off the human switch. I don't know if that's how other Orthodox really explain it. I'm just, in my mind, this is how I'm thinking about it. But if you're one person who is both, who has a human nature and who has a divine nature, then you're not denying your humanness, because you are a human person, but you're also not denying your divineness. And you can also be human and divine at the same time. Whereas if you have one nature, it's saying that you're always human and divine at the same time. That's a slight difference. It's like, being capable of being human and divine at the same time is not the same as being human and divine at the same time. Technically, it wasn't until theophany, when Jesus was baptized, that he became both human and divine at the same time. That was the point, because the baptism is what established his divine nature. It was what was seen. Before that, you don't have a situation where he is seen, visibly seen, as human and divine at the same time. So, not that he wasn't both human and divine from birth, because we're all human and divine from birth. But it was at that time, at the theophany, at the baptism, that you could see he was both human and divine at the same time, because he was engaged in a human thing, the human baptism of the physical body, and the divine nature was made apparent. So that's a different, those are two different things. And it's not enough for me to stop, going to my OCA church. But in my mind, I know that my personal theology, which is what matters, is more aligned with for many reasons, is more aligned with the Oriental Orthodox Church than it is with the American Orthodox Church. And so that is the actual theological difference. Now, there's language differences and stuff like that. And cultural differences that make it easier for me to go to an American church than an Oriental church, because I don't speak the Oriental languages. So there's that. But if I was going to pick a theology that I'm more aligned with, it would be the Oriental church. So I would suggest that people, if you want to try an Orthodox church, you maybe want to go to an Oriental Orthodox church. The language, the service is probably not going to be in English. But if you want to be around people who believe that Jesus has two different natures, as opposed to people that believe Jesus has one nature with two forms, that may make you feel more comfortable. So I don't know. I'm not really the type of person who's uncomfortable by people having different beliefs, or going to church with people who have different beliefs than me. That doesn't bother me. Some people that does. And so hopefully this, gives an explanation of that. All right, so what I'm going to do, so since there is no saint specifically associated with this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this on my candle. So I did not chalk this on my door. I was not inclined to do that, which is why I didn't mention it again to everybody. I was kind of taken off of that and redirected to, okay, I'm going to put this on my door. I mean, on my candle. So on my candle, I'm going to put, it's the year's 2024. So remember, you put the 20 in the beginning, you put the 24 at the end because it's 24. And then you have 4 crosses: the father, the mother, the sister, and the brother. So we got everybody mentioned in the CMB, which is the Magi, but also may Christ bless this house. That's the Latin. And I don't want, and the reason for me personally, I don't own this house. As a matter of fact, anyway, long story short, I don't own this house. I don't want Christ to bless this house. That's not fair. The people who own this house should have been coming over here, putting that thing on the door if they wanted Christ to bless this house. I want Christ to bless my house, my physical body, my spiritual man. So instead of putting it on the door so he can bless the actual physical house, I will put it on my candle so he can bless me, the physical vessel. That's how I feel about it. If you own your house or whatever, you can still put this on your door. You're still within the window. That's another reason why I wanted to get this done today. But me, I felt uncomfortable with putting it on the doors of this house because I don't want Christ to bless this house. I don't want Christ to bless this house because this is not my house. I want Christ to bless my house, my physical vessel. So that's why I'm going to put it on my candle. And also to bless the country, the American people as a whole. So I'm going to put it on the American people's candle. So I would suggest putting this on your candle, and we're tying it in with our new moon that way. Okay. All right, so let's take a look at the USA chart. As you can see, the United States has Capricorn in the second house. If this was in whole sign houses, which is not, it would be the second house. And the first house is Sagittarius, the second house is Capricorn. Okay, so it has 2 placements in Capricorn. We'll take a look at those. This candle language. This part applies to everyone. You can ask Haniel because we're in the Capricorn New Moon, and I would use black or maroon ink for the candle. Okay. So for Haniel, I'm going to say, please help the daughter of Zion and the American people get the karma they deserve. We're not going to get into what karma. No, don't get karma you don't deserve. Just give everybody the karma they deserve. Whatever it may be. It's only fair that people get the karma they deserve. Okay. For the, what was that? This is the 8 degrees of Capricorn is Porthamo. And so I said, please help the daughter Zion and the American people protect themselves from harmful radiation being used to control them, because Porthamo is the entity that's over this radiation. And there's other radiation things in this actual thing, like I mentioned, from the other spirit intelligences. So that's what's being used to control people, to keep people down, to keep people fighting, to keep people arguing, and whatever. It's this radiation. So we want this guy to help us protect ourselves and also the American people in general from harmful radiation that's being used to control them. So the last one, which is 27 degrees of Capricorn, is Saint Irene Kilosa, and that's please teach daughter Zion and the American people the words of power necessary to protect themselves. So Kilosa deals with words of power and protection, and so that's what's in AmaruKhan's chart. So think about this. America has in their chart the power to control people's destiny, the power to, karma, the power to control this radiation and hurt people, and also the power to have words, or now they're using it as propaganda to protect themselves. That's wild. Honestly, that is wild. AmaruKhan, this is, anyway. So the written request, which is the I am statement for AmaruKhan. AmaruKhan, I say it has Capricorn in the second house, which is I am, receives increased access to income, assets, agriculture, planning, and strength. Y'all, this country grows a lot of stuff that's not GMO. They just give the GMO stuff to us. We need access to the non-GMO stuff. So this has a lot, this whole thing with America has a lot to do with their ability to provide their people with food and resources and money and everything else that belongs to us. They need to stop giving our wealth to Britain. They don't own us. America was here before Britain came in and decided to take over. Before they gave their land patents and their land grants and their put their people in charge as if there weren't people already here. Britain needs to take care of itself, and it's getting, nobody really covers this, but Britain is literally getting its karma on top of karma on top of karma. They are underwater right now practically in Britain because they need to stop messing with us. They cannot have our resources. They need to stop it. And if they get the karma they deserve and we get the karma we deserve, everybody is good. And that's what we're going to get. So remember, you would put your I am statement on your quote unquote spiritual deposit slip. And I usually fill it up with other things that's related to income and assets. So like, for example, with AmaruKhan, I would say I am receives increased access to income, assets, agriculture, planning, and strength. I am receives, or increased access. I receive access to all income that belongs to this country, that belongs to me. I receive all access to all non-GMO agriculture. I receive access to have my voice count in planning, central planning. I receive access to any strength that's being blocked from me by the use of radiation. That's how I would fill my page up with things on here. And I just always write it twice. One I stick on my altar, the other one I keep for my records. Like I said, I am working on a book to keep these records in. It's not ready yet, and I'll let you know kind of when it is. I'm probably going to turn this into a nice little product, which I'm working on. So again, if you have any questions or you want this to be this PowerPoint to be emailed to you along with the withdrawal slip, please send me an email, Sophia Spiritualite. If you're already on my list that I always send these out to you, you don't have to send me another email. You're going to get it anyway. Everyone else who's not on my list, you can send me an email. I'll put you on the list when I send these out. I'll send it to you. When we have our meetings, I'll send you the link so that you can join the meetings. Just send it to my Sophia Spiritualite at gmail.com email, and I spell it out because they put the bots and whatever in here, and I don't want them to get my email address and be sending me a bunch of crap. So if you have any questions, this is going up on Sunday. The actual new moon is not until Thursday, so you have plenty of time to prepare yourself. I'm going to set my candles and everything and really get ready for this. It's going to be a pretty eventful new moon, and I don't want to wait for the last minute. So if you have any questions, of course, contact me, and I'll answer them the best that I can. Thank you for joining me. Please